I want to thank Stephanie for sitting in because I didn't feel like wearing a mask while I was there, so I'm doing this from home. And I think we have to go around to do roll call because some of us are remote. So roll call, Joan Franklini. Francesca, you're on mute.
Bob Wilkinson.
John Lippman.
Hardy
Sorry,
Truesdale.
I'm just having a hard time hearing everybody. I'm here.
Okay.
Hardy Truesdale.
Stephanie Gaskill.
Dick Hilmer.
Charles Ellis.
Michael Harmon.
Great. And Jennifer's not here today. She had an emergency just recently. So we're going to have to try to fill in for her. Okay, that was good. All right. So the first part is the start of the meeting, and then it's public comment. And so Stephanie is going to run the public comment part because that'd be too hard to do over Zoom. Thank you.
Okay. So you've called the meeting to order. Now
Yes.
we're opening the public hearing regarding the applications. So from the audience, do we have anyone who wants to make a public comment about some of the applications? Please give us your name and where you live.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Jay Stradell. I'm at 38 Forest Way in South Orleans. I'm also chair of the Orleans Historical Society, or the CHO, as we like to call it. I just want to take a moment. There was a question asked at a previous meeting that I'm not sure we addressed fully, and I'd like a chance to just reiterate and go over that a minute. The question was, what happens if, what's the downside of not funding the complete 50,000 that we've asked for, continuing our collections work? And there's really two things that I'd just like to mention. One is, and not to be flippant, we're on a roll. I mean, we've been working on this for a while, and to have a long gap would be a problem because, this kind of research and collection of data and recording is not something that you take up for 5 minutes, put down, and pick it up again another time. It really needs a concentrated and diligent effort to do this right. And to have a large gap when this isn't being done could be really a problem. But I think more importantly, what's critical is that if we don't finish an accounting of what we have, we really have a problem compounded when we get new stuff in. And we get new things in almost daily, at least several times a week. And if you don't know what you've got, it's very hard to determine if you get something else, whether, is it a duplicate? Does it complement something we already have in our files? If it is a duplicate, is it a better version of what we have or not as good? All these little kinds of questions come up, and as this compounds, we really can't do a good job of categorizing and categorizing or recording new stuff if we don't have what we have currently well in hand. So I just wanted to make that point that this is a compounding problem, particularly if it goes over several years. And of course, like everybody else, costs rise as time goes on. So we can't be sure that the consultants we're using or the other things that we're spending money on aren't going to go up as time goes on. So
Okay.
I just wanted to add that. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Michael, maybe you could answer my question, which would be, are we to interact, or is this public comment where it's just spoken and we don't ask questions of people that are speaking?
It's not
We're
public.
not going to ask
not-
questions.
We're not going to ask questions,
Okay,
so
but it's not
public.
public comment.
All right.
This is a public
Public
hearing.
meeting,
It's
Public
very
hearing.
different than
All right.
public comment. Public hearing, you can interact.
all right,
If you choose to. It's the chair's decision.
okay, all right. Joan, no, okay, we're not going to ask questions. And we might also ask, and thank you very much for being very brief, and we're asking everyone to try to keep their comments at a minimum of time. Okay, the next person?
Good evening. Kevin Higgins,
Kenneth Lane. I am the chairman of the Veterans Memorial Committee. I'm here for two reasons real quick. The first is to formally withdraw my request for the $20,000 in regards to the World War I monument. Spent a lot of time on the phone today with Tom, Richard Waldo. Rich spent quite a bit of time today, and he discovered a change order back during the summer that covered a large majority, the lion's share of the actual construction. It was being held in abeyance by GFM, and we've discovered that at this point. So at this point in time, I'd like to formally withdraw the $20,000 request for the World War I monument. And the second portion is just to ask that the committee take a long, hard look at the restoration for the Civil War soldier. It was put in place in 1883. It was here long before any of us were here, and hopefully it'll be here long after all of us are gone. So just like to put a request that the committee take a look at that project and hopefully approve it. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else for public comment?
Is this actual public comment?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Good afternoon. I'm Amanda Bebrin. I'm the Director of Housing Advocacy at the Community Development Partnership. We're one of the applications in front of you, and I did have the opportunity to review your December discussion and just wanted to provide a little bit of additional context. For starters, who is the Lower Cape Housing Institute for? It is for municipal staff, but primarily it is targeted at municipal board and committee members like yourself. For bodies that are involved in housing production, but really for anyone who's interested in housing. And the program is born out of a recognition that people come to serve their towns because they love their communities, but they might not have a background that's specifically in housing. And housing is really very specialized knowledge. You know, everything, zoning, permitting, RFPs, funding, local preference, all the different housing strategies are really very specific knowledge. And so we are trying to provide tailored education and information so that when board and committee members have an application in front of them at the point of a decision, they have all the information that they need to understand what's gone into getting the application to that point, where it goes from there, all of the different things that touch housing. And there's not a lot of other organizations that offer this kind of education. There are really niche organizations that board and committee members could go to, and you'd probably be looking at educational opportunities that are themselves very niche and presented at a really advanced level that may be difficult for board and committee members to parse and figure out what's relevant to our area. I work with all of our speakers myself, and we prioritize local, regional, and state speakers who can speak specifically to the Lower and Outer Cape region. What are our constraints? What are our needs? What are our goals in terms of housing, so that our board and committee members have education that really is relevant to the things that are in front of us. So I wanted to clarify that a little bit. I also wanted to say that Orleans has the second highest attendance all time of any town in the region, and I really think that speaks to your board and committee members being invested over time in continuing to educate themselves on housing and all the things that go along with it. That is why we have continued to expand the scope so that it's not just housing, it's all of the other things that touch it, whether that's the schools, whether that's the environment, with water, with traffic. Having a robust understanding of that helps you as Orleans board and committee members move towards your stated outcomes about housing. It's always exciting when housing gets built, but that's really the final step in the process, and there's a lot of human capital that goes into getting it to that point, and we want to support you in moving towards those goals that you've set for yourselves. Lastly, in terms of attendance, I'll say you had 27 unique attendees in the last year, but that represents 70 sessions or instances of education, and so if you multiply that out over the years that the Orleans CPC and town meeting have been supporting this program, it's really a tremendous investment by your board and committee members into continuing to understand what is an always changing sort of landscape for housing. I had a session yesterday. We did Water Resources 201. We had 53 attendees, and we have 32 new attendees just this year for the whole program, including 3 new from Orleans. And I actually this afternoon had an Orleans participant reach out to me to say how valuable they found it and that they had circulated it to a couple of your department department heads, as well as your water resources related boards and committees to help provide some context and some background. So I do think this is something that your board and committee members find really valuable. Whether you think 10 grand is a lot of money or not a lot of money, I can tell you that we are excellent stewards of taxpayer dollars. We take it really seriously. We apply for absolutely every funding opportunity we can get, and we do apply to the other 7 CPCs as well. So thank you again for your consideration. I think you said you weren't going to take questions, but if there are any, I'll hang out. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, the next person?
Hi there, my name is Stephen Cass. I live at 9 Kaplan and L Road. I was born in New Orleans back in the 60s when my father was a director at some of the summer camps, Camps Quonset, Tonset, Namaquoit. So this has been my home or second home my entire life. I have spent a lot of my life working with athletic facilities, and that's my area of expertise, and that's what I do now. And I did this for the city of San Francisco and Ohio State, and I work with schools and towns now. And I just wanted to, I spoke at the town meeting, and my intention regarding the Eldridge Park plan was not to vote against it, was to ask for a lower amount of money from the CPC. And this was the only group that really said, we're not going to provide as much money as that group was asking for. I think you provided $3 million, but they were asking for more than that, which I totally applaud. I was going to see if we could vote for $2 million, but the moderator told me that was not appropriate at the meeting. And I just wanted to let you know. So this is my area of expertise. I have seen some of these businesses work that are consultants. And one of the problems in this field is the people who are consultants really aren't consultants. They simply, you give them ideas, they put it all in a CAD drawing, and there's your plan. And so I'm not a big fan of what we're building at Eldridge Park right now. I think we're cramming too many things into a small space, but that's kind of what's done is done. But we have a $35 million plan for all of the space. And this is probably a $6 or $7 million project dripping wet. We have a running track that's planned on the Nauset Middle School land. We would be the only town in Massachusetts that has a middle school running track. These are for high school competitions. This is a competition track. We have a 1,300-seat stadium planned for that space, for middle school field hockey, I suppose. It's incredibly wasteful what we're planning.
Excuse me, Mr. Cass. There's no application for the Recreation Commission here tonight. This is a hearing for current applications. This is really not an appropriate time to be speaking.
Okay, I asked if this was public comment.
Well, it's public comment regarding to the hearing, not to your feelings about a vote that's already been taken.
Oh, I'm here simply to say, just like the housing, if you are looking at future applications for recreation and spending money on this large project down the road, I'll send you an email with my information. But I'd love to be a resource to help the town so we spend our money wisely. So that was really my ultimate point, was not to talk about the past, but talk about the future. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, thank you. Anyone else? I see other people in the audience who we know are associated with other applications. No other comment or on their applications? Okay. I'll go back to you, Joan. We have no
Okay.
further comment.
Now, Andrea's online. Andrea, did you want to speak about anything? You're on mute.
Yeah, thanks, Joe. No, I'm just, I'm here in support of the CPC application, of course, to support affordable housing. So that's it.
Okay, great.
Thanks.
You're welcome. Okay, we can close the public hearing now and move on to talk about the budget. And John has gotten roped into doing the live Excel. And my lights are flickering, so.
Yeah, do we need, Joan, I think we need to take a vote to close the public meeting
Okay.
and to go
Okay,
on
yeah.
to our regular meeting.
So moved.
Thank you.
Second.
Okay.
And we have to do a voice vote because we have people remotely. So Joan, let's start with you.
Yes.
Francesca?
Yes.
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 Yes, Michael Herman.
Okay, we have now closed the public hearing, and now we're proceeding on to our regular meeting.
Okay.
Do we need to open that by a voice vote, or can we just open it? Just open it. Okay, thank you. All right, now we're opening our regular meeting. So, go ahead,
With
Joan.
With the opening of the regular meeting, John is going to be the note taker on the Excel in case we change any of these numbers to let us know where we're at. John, I didn't know if you wanted to use the computer,
What?
that shows up on the screen.
It is
There you
up on
go.
the screen.
Great, okay.
Okay,
The one thing I want to add here, I want to give a thank you to the Finance Committee. They have, to the Finance team at town, they have really been great looking at everything for us and providing us real-time access to money when we turn it back. In addition to the money we have here, we can't count it today, but we will have another 50 grand coming back to us from projects that have been closed. And the big one is the rewiring down on Old Colony. So that will go into the fund we have, but not to spend it right now. But I really want to thank them for being on top of everything. It has been a great resource for us.
Super.
So
Joan,
with that,
if I can add in here, because of the comment about Veterans Park restoration, the removal of $20,000, in Jennifer Fountain form, I went ahead and did that. It seemed to work. So I took the 20 grand out and struck
Okay.
that project. So we now have 171 for those who have a handwritten, a printed copy, 521 for the funds requested. And then the balance reserve goes up to 205, down to 215, 205.
no, the balance reserve.
205, yes.
Okay, and before we start, Charles, did you want to speak about we might as well start with the Civil War Monument?
Yeah,
Or the-
all of the historical all the historical applications were reviewed. They were all viewed as being historically significant. They were all viewed as being an appropriate usage of CPC funds and a good usage of money. For the historical monument, the Historical Commission, because it gets pretty complex in terms of restoring the monument, they asked, similar to what we've done for other applications, like we did it for the Academy, that if the committee chooses to fund the money, and that into the article is put a requirement that when they come up with a plan of how to restore the monument, that they will review that with details to the Historical Commission and not start work until that is approved. I will note that the specialist, the company that was doing that presented to the Historical Commission, to me seemed very competent and very good. So,
Great. Thank you, Charles. Okay, so do you want to put the Excel on and then go down the list as we did before? And I know we did a rough calculation before, and we all agree that it's good to have some money held aside. So we can either go through it all and then take one vote, or do we have to vote line item by line item?
I do not know.
I think we should talk about it, just in case anybody has a different point of view than they had
Right.
before.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, we'll talk about each one. So let's start with the first one up here is the archiving. And we originally discussed, the ask was 50. We had recommended 25 at our last meeting. Discussion?
Yeah, I would vote that we go back to the 50 and that we get it done all at one time versus piecemeal. I think it's a worthwhile project, and I would suggest that we consider that.
I would agree.
Charles, I have one question. Is the organization's known, as the gentleman spoke, this has gone on for quite some time. They just, at this point in time, don't want it stopped, wants the flow to continue. Has there been any fundraising attempt? Has there been
So
anything?
this is Dick Hilmer, who you sat and talked with at the party that we went to.
Are we hearing?
Wait, who's speaking?
Oh, my goodness, you're, be nice to me, whoever you are.
I think it's Andrea. Andrea, your mic might be on. We know Dick likes to party.
Here we go.
Who's hacking the meeting?
I can tell you that that organization probably does the best job of anybody that we give money in terms of getting money from other places. I don't know what they've done for this in particular, but they've gotten a substantial amount of money from other organizations for everything that they've presented to us.
I would have a question on this. We have given to this previously. Is this the final request, or is this going to be in another 2 years, we have another request for
Well,
this?
We really haven't given to this. We've given to the physical archiving of the artifacts down below where we put in storage systems and that. This has a lot of different components, which involves being able to put this stuff online into computers that people can get to this information. If you go to any university library at this point in time and you're a student, you can go into the library and quickly access any of the information that's available. This moves that information into something that is both accessible and is really more and I believe they're using a state-of-the-art such system. So is this the end? You know, if they got access to a tremendous amount of archival information from some other organization in the town, that could change the needs down the road. They don't have that right now. I think this completes this part of the project. I don't know if there'll be something else down the road, though.
But a few minutes ago, when you were speaking, the comment was, this is ongoing, and we don't want to stop, we don't want to interrupt the current flow. So,
But I don't think we've given money for what they're doing right now. I think that's part of I could be wrong about this.
Okay.
I think that's part of the organizational process that they've been doing in terms of the collections they get all the time. They've been trying, I believe they've been trying to modernize that information. But I'm not aware of us ever giving money for this project before.
okay.
Yes, the gentleman.
Yes, yeah.
Sir, do you have any knowledge if this thing's in a flow, it's already started, it's moving forward, where have those funds come from to this point?
Let me just address that if I may, and Mary Hartford is here as well. In case I make a mistake, she can correct me, but Mary is one of our advisors and consultants on this. We have more than 6,000 artifacts in the Cho collection. And we have, to date, I would say we've, three-quarters, Mary, a little bit more than that, are done. We still need to finish what is left, and that gives us a good base, as I said a few minutes ago, for taking on new stuff, which is not part of this grant. As far as we're concerned, this grant ends what we need to do in order to get even so that we can move forward properly. And I don't anticipate unless, and I think Charles was right, if we get a large collection from someone like Seacall Farm or some other organization that we need to catalog, then we may come back, but that's a separate thing. I might also say that, yes, we are getting funds from other organizations like the Antique Dealers Association. We've gotten funding from our members and donations through the course of the year, and some of that is applied to this as well.
Sir, I think I'm just trying to find an answer to, has the town through CPC helped fund years past?
I think Charles answered it. We funded the situation, the.
Could you come up to the microphone and tell us who you are, please?
I'm Chris Harder, and I'm on the board at the Historical Society, and I'm the grant writer. In the past, we have applied for, which was a part of our renovation program, a way to store all of the artifacts. And they used to be in the balcony at the meeting house and all over the place. And what we did was we moved them a couple of times, but also brought them all together in the basement of the Heard Chapel, and we received funds from you all to put in a system where we can find everything and we can account for everything. That's what's been funded in the past. And what we've been doing since then with volunteers and with Marion and Dave Hartford's help is trying to organize the collection. And as Jay said, there's 6,000 pieces at least, and we're about 3/4 of the way through that. And so what this grant would allow us to do is to finish that, and so that we've got a base, and we know of other collections in town that want to come to us. We're hoping we'll be able to do all of that with the volunteers going forward, but until we catch up, we're not going to be able to do that. Does that answer your question? Okay.
Stephanie?
Yes, go ahead, Bob.
I'm okay, Charles, with the 50,000. I quite frankly preferred the 25 only because, well, I guess I went to the mats for the Coast Guard boat last year, as you'll recall. That was not a very popular thing, and they were asking for a lot of money. They've also asked for a lot of money over the years, the Heard Chapel, the meeting house itself, and I'm personally, I'm okay with the 50,000.
Hey, Bob, can you just speak a little louder?
I've nearly got the thing in my mouth, Joan. I'll try.
Volume up.
Do you need me to repeat it all, or basically, I feel that we've been.
Hold on. Is anyone, Andrea, can you hear Bob?
I think that he's actually too close and it's peaking and it's not coming through to Zoom. So if you wouldn't mind actually backing up.
Is this better? Can you hear me, Joan?
That's good now. Perfect.
Wow.
Good try.
Sorry, everybody.
We say speak.
I've always been told to get closer to this thing. I feel we've been very generous to Joe, and as I mentioned, last year that was a hard sell to get you that money. And I'm okay with the 50,000, but to be very blunt, I'd like to not see you here for a year or two.
That's our intention.
Okay, that's all I need to say.
John?
Nothing much to add to that. I'm okay with it too. I'm going to go ahead and just put in the 50 here. This will change our total some. So it kind of.
Well, let's wait till we go through everyone, John.
Oh, okay. It's just.
Stephanie? Hardy?
Hardy, yeah.
I'm okay with the 50,000. I think it is good, and I like what they're saying. They're trying to complete a task, very important task, and much easier when it's done digitally and electronically. So, yes.
Well, I'm all for digitization as well. I still have the same concerns that I did the last time we spoke about this, which is the stovepiping of information, where it becomes available here in Orleans and it's digitized here, but it is not available anywhere else. And does it coordinate with the library? Does it coordinate with other things in Massachusetts, or is it so localized here that the actual information does not really become publicly available to everyone as it should? But I wouldn't oppose it, the 50,000.
I agree with my colleagues. I would just stress that what Bob mentioned is that this is continuing your work, allowing you to continue the work. Now it's your job to go finish raising the money to close the deal, and on we go.
I have
Charles?
nothing else to add.
Nothing else? Okay.
Michael?
Yes, hi. I don't oppose the 50,000. I do respect what Bob said, and I know we've been very generous as a town and as a CPC to the Cho, and they do amazing work. But just to add a little bit on to what Stephanie said, I mean, we're told that this digitizing is state of the art. If it is state of the art, then it should be able to be shared with our other institutions in town, be it the library and things like that, because any state of the art that is university quality kind of archiving would account for that. So
You want me to respond to that?
if you do have, if it's okay
Yes,
with the chair.
that'd be great.
The system that we're using is called Past Perfect, and it is something that you can log on to. In fact, I was working on it for several hours this week from my house. So if we can figure out a way of a control, and we'll work with Mary and with our office manager to do that, there's no reason why somebody from the library couldn't log in, or even someone from California, because it's just a matter of getting online. So it has limitations. The best way to do it is to be in the building so you can see the artifact, because everything is photographed and logged where it is. But there's a possibility that people off-site could also log in, like I did today or this week. Does that help?
And just,
For me, that's definitely helpful, and I would strongly encourage that, because
Mm-hmm.
the more people that get to use this archive and get to see this archive makes every dollar we spend and invest in
Yeah.
this more profitable for the town.
Yeah, we'll definitely take that back. And it's interesting. Jay's trying to figure out what's the Sparrowhawk is 400 years ago. The Sparrowhawk was found shipwrecked, and Jay's been trying to get some information on the Sparrowhawk, and that's the work I was doing to try to look for stuff in what we have in the collection. So, and it was exciting. You know, it's exciting when you find a piece here and there, and there's no way we could go in the basement of the herd and look for stuff that has to do with the Sparrowhawk. Having Past Perfect all catalog makes a huge difference.
Can I just jump in? I did some research on Past Perfect. You can't just have anyone log in. It's password protected.
Right.
And it is, but I would love Cho to be working with the other groups within town, the library,
Yeah,
anyone
that's,
else, universities, to give them password access. But someone from California cannot necessarily go in. It's the way it's set up, because it's proprietary information, a lot of this.
Right.
That's being used. So it's not that you're using the wrong platform, you're using the right platform. It's just the way that it's set
well, that's
up.
why I said we'd have to set up some kind of control. You know, if we had a professor from California who was doing some research on the Sparrowhawk, we could somehow put on control. I have my own password and I log in, but we could assign passwords as well. So I don't know what that control would be, which is why I specified that before I said anything further. So hopefully we'll be able to figure that out. But with your concern, we'll go back and address that.
I think what you want to look at with your money is there is a way to set it up that there's a website that people can access that's different. It's a public facing one versus private. And if we approve this 50, I would love you to set up that website with it so that we know that everyone can have access.
Okay, well, not knowing what that is, I guess I'd say we'd take a look at it, but I'm not going to guarantee.
I didn't say that. You can't promise it, but at least you
Right.
consider it as part of the spend.
Right, we'll take a look at it.
If I may, just like a lot of libraries have archives, and you have to physically go there, of course, to access their archives. I'm not saying that this needs to be globally online, but that, people are able to have access to that, whether that means you have a terminal at Cho that they can come and actually sit down and be
Right.
monitored when they're searching or whatever it may be, but we should make sure there's somewhat of a level of access to these archives.
Understand Past Perfect right now doesn't have that. We're going to have to look into it.
Mary, do you have something to say about that?
Hi, I'm Mary Hartford. My husband Dave and I own Memento, which is in Orleans. I live in Eastham. So we're pretty familiar with, that's what we do. We work with Past Perfect. It does have a web component. Chatham uses it right now, and you can look on the Chatham website and see it. Like most databases, it allows you to select certain fields that you share with the public because you wouldn't necessarily want to share an appraised value of objects or something like that. So you can pick and choose what you want. It's a little bit clunky, but it does get it out there. Another option is once this is done, there's probably ways we could share this with Digital Commonwealth, and it would be available throughout the state and anywhere else. So just wanted
Mary,
to
could I ask a question?
Sure.
What about, I mean, to me, this would all be, we have all our children in school studying history. And what about them having access to this, all of this information? I mean, how would that play out?
So it would be available on the CHO's website if they choose to upload it. But at this point, part of the problem with doing it now is that it's not complete and there are mistakes in it, and we don't want to load something online that isn't complete. It's been used for a number of years at the CHO with a lot of different cooks in the process, and it needs to be, this was, I think, explained in the grant too, it needs to be worked through and more presentable and complete, and it's not complete, so there's not really good, it's not representative of their collection yet, but if we could get this money to do that, that would help, and then we could put it up.
Okay, thank you.
Francesca?
Hello. I just share the feedback about making it as available as possible. It's a large kind of funding request, and I respect the concept of moving things forward, although it does seem a bit like an iterative process. So, I mean, I think I'm okay with keeping it as 50 for now, but, I'd like to see kind of how things balance out around it as well.
Okay.
Stephanie?
Yes.
I would move that we appropriate $50,000 for CHO archiving.
I'm sorry. I thought that we looked at everything holistically. Or do
I thought
Joan, how do you want it to proceed? Do you want us to vote line item by line item, or do you want us to review them all and then go back and summarize?
Well, I think if we vote on this, then it locks us in versus looking at everything and just make a notation that people
I
are
thought Charlie wanted to do it line by line. Was I mistaken, Charlie?
I wanted to discuss it.
Discuss it.
I'm
Okay,
fine whichever way
that's
Jim wants
fine.
to do it,
Okay.
but I wanted us to be able to discuss it in case people have different point of views.
Fine.
Should, just for doing the math on this, Joan and anyone else, should I go ahead and change this to 50,000 for now? Just
Yeah, I think it
so we do
seemed
that.
like most people were going to say yes, but let's see where it ends
Right,
up. and then-
we can change it back if we want.
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you, Francesca.
Okay, the next one down the line is the shutters for the Academy at 7K. Does anyone have any comment on that?
Nope.
No one's
Nope.
showing any, Joan.
Okay, the next one is the OCT trail guides. Any comment on approving the 25?
I have a comment, and maybe I can ask Steve. Yeah, I see you here. Are these being done digitally, or is this a $25,000 seems like to me a lot to be printing maps of when we're moving towards more of a digital kind of way of scanning, QR codes at the trailheads, and there are maps online. Is this every year? Is it 25,000, or what's the situation?
Steve O'Grady with the Orleans Conservation Trust. Thanks, Michael, for that question. Yeah, so these were last done in 2015.
Okay.
So that was the last time we had funding for this. And that 25,000 is inclusive of everything that will be needed to redesign the trail guides and incorporate physical materials, including a reprinted trail guide. So that's part of the cost, but this is inclusive of incorporating that reprinted material with online resources. So we've come a long way with QR codes, with the town's website, with Orleans Conservation Trust website since 2015.
So we probably wouldn't see this request again for 10 years.
I think that's right.
Okay. That's good. And have you, just out of curiosity, have you seen a decline in the use of the physical maps and an increase in use online, or is that even tracked? Is it able to be tracked, or just as curiosity?
I think anecdotally, I would say yes, but we have not been systematically tracking that until more recently.
Okay. That's all my questions on this. I would support this.
I would support it also. So would I.
Yeah, and the only comment I would make on what you just said is the last meeting, I think someone was saying we had a big collection of those maps at the town and at OCT, and they disappear very quickly.
Does that mean?
Printed maps.
But you still have them, you've just run out now, so it's been 10 years.
We're getting close to running out.
Getting
Yeah.
close to running.
People still want the physical maps.
People still want them.
Yeah, they do. I appreciate what people want, but I'm also trying to.
Agreed. I think
Balancing.
the digital is really important.
I know when I do at least, and that's just, again, anecdotal, I like to be able to stop somewhere and scan something and be able to look at it on my.
As long as you have self-service, you're good.
Correct. As we saw yesterday, some of us didn't.
I lost it yesterday.
Okay, the next one, the Cedar Pond is 175. Any more questions while Steve's there?
No.
No, we're not showing any in the room, Joan.
Okay, the French Cable Archive, 15, 8, whatever the number is, 15 something? 980. Any questions there? No. Great. Okay, the Lower Cape Housing, the CDP 10. Oh, sorry, yeah, the 10 for CDP. Any questions there?
Nope.
Nope. Okay, we're gonna skip down to the Form B project at 25. Any questions there? Nope.
Okay.
Okay, we discussed doing the housing at 300. Any questions there?
No.
I have a question there.
Sure.
I felt that this year, when we, through an accounting blip, found that we had a lot of extra money, was of huge benefit to us as a committee. And going forward, what we had heard from our town management back at the end of January last year was that, or maybe it was beginning of February, was that a lot of other towns have large buckets of money that they carry over from year to year. Now, we've never had that recently, and this last year, quite by accident, we got that. And it was so helpful to us to have that amount of money to be able to pay down Eldridge Park. And the largest amount being asked for here this year is the amount for the affordable housing. And I would be comfortable taking another 100,000 from that and adding it into just our reserve fund, so that we end up with in the vicinity of 250,000 as opposed to 150. Going forward, I think we're going to be seeing a lot of changes in town over the next couple of years when we have Eldridge Park underway. There's going to be other opportunities for recreation in town. And I really feel very strongly that our existing residents, our children, people who want recreation opportunities, have not had the kinds of funds available, have never asked for the kinds of funds that other organizations in town have. And I'd like for us to be able to have a larger pool of money that we could draw on in the next few years. So I would like to see that 300,000 reduced to 2.
That's too much of a haircut for me. I feel that we've reduced them from 7 to 300,000. I'm hopeful that applications in the future from them will be for closer to $300,000 than $700,000 because, as I've been saying for a while now, CPC cannot solve Orleans' housing problem. We just don't generate that kind of income. But I think to take to give them $400,000 less than they're asking for, Stephanie, this year I'm comfortable with that. I don't disagree with what you're saying, quite frankly, but I feel that we've made a pretty radical cut as it is.
Except, if I could respond to that, the 700,000 was not based upon a need. The 700,000 was an abstract of 600,000 is the approximate cost for one unit of living. And so they had 100,000 for something else, I think. But it's like, it wasn't like we have this project and we need this amount of money for that. It was an abstract to add to their already existing funds, and I believe they have 1.4 million in existing funds. And so if we're talking about putting more funds into their funds for them to hold for future use, I just think that future use may be better for recreation. That would just be my response.
Bob, the haircut's from 400,000, that's what they got last year. It's not, I mean, you can ask for whatever you want to, it's a basic negotiating style, negotiate down, but the haircut's from 400,000.
If I may, I mean, I watched the meetings and I wasn't here when you guys made the decision to lower it. I was kind of surprised, but I mean, I would stand with the 300,000. I think it's a significant drop from their request, and I still think the number one challenge we have right now is still affordable housing, and we do have projects that are coming along the way, and we do need to have money for them that's available, and we have invested as a town in a staffing position and other programs, lease to locals, and a slew of other programs that are actually out there helping people deal with the livability of this town and not just building projects. So I think 300 is a fair ask for what affordable housing is doing and the need that is out there right now. And yes, they do have money in their bank account, so I hear what you're saying, Stephanie. But we're looking at the Governor Prince, which is coming down the pike, and there's going to be a significant contribution to that needs to be done, and we need to make sure the money is there. Once the state and the federal government, whatever situation comes along, start approving the funds, we're going to need to help with those projects too. So I'll leave it at that, but I think based on history and where we are with the housing crisis, 300 is a fair amount.
Stephanie?
Charles?
I agree with what you've said. I would cut 100,000 out. I'd cut 50,000 out. I'd cut 75,000 out, but I would reduce it. There's also a separate fund. This isn't, I think we got from the meeting that we had here that there's a town contribution that's in a separate fund that's in addition to what's in the budget that's there. I also would, I would agree to something less and would be open for what the amount was.
I personally don't think we should go below 300,000. I think we're at a cornerstone in Orleans where we just cannot continue to fund year after year. I think this is a very important project, though. I think this is necessary in the community, and we just have to start planning this. I'm going to jump back here, but for the Institute, the Cape Cod, the Lower Cape Housing Institute, I find that 10,000 each year for speakers, and you have other influences, right there is where I look and say, well, I might consider something different for next year in terms of giving a little more, something a little more, I don't know if I want to use the word, but why not get more trouble? A little more sexy than just like, okay, here's 10 grand, I'm going to throw a luncheon for people to listen to us talk. Because because there's a lot in housing that bothers me right now. We can put people into affordable houses, but who's going to pay the tax once we get them into a house, 400,000, and they're going to be, okay, now you've got 2,000, 2,500 a year you've got to pay on property taxes. So the affordable housing situation is a tough one, and I would not go below 300,000.
Stephanie, if I can.
Go ahead, John.
Something in. I would also prefer to stick with the 300,000. I think we struggled with it a bit. It seemed to be the number that worked. And keep in mind, too, there are, unless I'm mistaken, there are no other housing projects that we're contributing to. And I believe last year we did have on the agenda 107 Main, or the year before, perhaps. And so it seems like with that being the sort of the only spot on the agenda, I'm sorry, a spot on the budget, rather, where we have affordable housing funding being allocated, that we ought to keep it where it is.
John, just to jump in, we are bonded for 2 housing things, so we are funding housing now. So
Right, okay, yes, right.
Let's hit our budget. But I don't know where Francesca went, and she is.
I'm just on the Zoom.
Okay. Okay.
She has a comment, right? That's all I need to.
Okay.
Do you have a
Hardy?
comment, Francesca?
Yes, but Joan, were you about to say something?
No, I want to make sure you got to speak, and then Hardy got to speak.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Yeah, I would not feel comfortable going any lower than the 300,000 for the Affordable Trust. I hear what you're saying about the recreation, Stephanie, and I'm really excited about the recreation projects that the town's investing in. But I think we've spent, quite a big investment on that, and you need to have people here to be able to use the recreation facilities that we're investing in. So I think 300,000 is kind of the bare minimum for me, especially as this year we're not really investing in other projects beyond what we have bonded.
I would agree to stay with the 300,000, especially working on the Open Space Committee and knowing how you have to try to grab something as it goes back and forth. And you, unfortunately, in this real estate market, where the developers are just chomping to move forward, I think we need to have a little bit more power to be able to do a bid or a down payment on something. So I think it's good to have a little bit of a buffer in the trust.
Well, I'm obviously outvoted, and
I would like, hold on a second. I would just like to-
I appreciate your input.
I want to just say something. I don't want to say what Bob, what you said is they came in with 7 and we're taking them down to 3. People could come in with 10 and we feel bad taking them down to 3. I agree with Charles that we gave them 4 last year. And I don't want to take it down below 3. I think it's a fair number, but not because they asked for 7, we can't take it lower. But I also do agree with Stephanie that it's nice to have a bucket of money that we could spend big dollars on when another project comes through. And we might have to think about that for next year, but I would keep it at 3 for this year also.
Okay.
Stephanie,
Yes.
welcome back, Jennifer, but you should probably be in bed.
Are you okay, Jennifer?
She doesn't want
She's
to
not
talk
talking.
about it.
Okay. She's
Okay.
muted.
Yes, I'm stitched up and
Okay.
Good.
can't
Okay.
type, but I'm here.
Okay.
Jennifer, I'm
Great.
trying to do the best I can.
Doing great, Joe.
You can never be
I
replaced.
promote you.
That's true.
So let's continue down because it seems like the 300 is staying as it is based on the
Yes.
feedback.
Okay.
Okay. The next one is the Northwest Schoolhouse. Any comments on the $12,338? I wish they didn't put 84 cents in there, but. Any comments on that?
What's that?
On
Okay.
Northwest Schoolhouse, any discussion necessary?
They've asked for 22, remember?
Right,
And
but
another
we
10.
cut it, but we cut it down to the 12 because we're not giving them the money to explore the
Okay.
elevator. So,
Okay.
Yeah.
any comment there?
Why did we cut that down from I'd just like to understand why we cut that.
If I remember, and I could ask Paul Davies is here to step in if we need any clarification, but the 10,000 additional that was requested was for, I may get this wrong, but basically for the addition and elevator study, and we.
Plans, for the
Plans for an elevator.
Plans, correct. And hold on, yeah, but Paul, why don't you maybe come up, but, anyway, my memory was, we really wanted to keep it to what's doable in this year, given our funding constraints. Go ahead, Paul.
The additional 10 was to update building codes.
For what, though, Paul?
So that we could go for larger grants.
All right, and what, if I can ask, and I don't even, what were the building codes that need to be updated?
Mechanical, structural, and electrical.
All right, well.
So that if we get that, then we can go to Mass Cultural and say this is shovel-ready.
I'm trying to find the application. I'm not sure that's what it said.
Just comment, that sounds reasonable to me in terms of being able to get other grants, not CPC money, but other money that would be available. And it seems like a reasonable request. I'm not sure maybe we understood that totally when we, maybe we didn't.
Yeah.
Maybe I didn't.
Right, I mean, Paul, you, if I remember, you were here talking about this. I don't know did that come across clearly to you in our discussion? It did not.
No, it did not.
Well, in the historical committee, we talked about it, so I'm a little more clear now than I was before that, so.
I think.
I think I have the additional right here in front of me, and it says, Northwest Schoolhouse is a historic multi-level community facility that currently hosts AA recovery meetings, yada, yada. However, the building's lack of an elevator prevents older adults, residents with disabilities, individuals with limited mobility from safely accessing programming of all floors. This significantly restricts equitable participation. Installing a four-story elevator is therefore critical for accessibility. And then the proposed, I'll get just down to the paragraph where it says, the proposed elevator addition has been professionally designed with CPC funds by the architectural firm Fredericks and McLean of Katimat. They have indicated that it would require $10,000 to bring their 81-page plan up to current building codes in terms of electrical, mechanical, and structural changes to the building code. Up-to-date architectural plans for a four-story elevator addition will make this project shovel-ready and eligible for large grants such as Cultural Facilities Fund grants and Massachusetts Cultural Council. So our takeaway, I thought, on this was what we were being asked for is for $10,000 for an engineering plan for an elevator. Now, you're saying that then allows you having those plans to go on and ask for additional monies from other things. I don't know that was what we all understood.
Stephanie, it's not for an engineering plan. That's all done. But this was 10 years ago. And so building codes, as you know, are constantly changing. So it's going to make us a lot more attractive to bigger funding sources if we can say we're shovel-ready.
I think, can I jump in here? I thought the concern was, Paul, you do a lot, but you would need to hire someone to really write the document for you. Because your source of funding has been our group so far, not a lot of other funding. And so to fund just to upgrade this and then not have someone hired who could write the grant so you can get the money is a concern. Because just updating it is one part of it, but really having something in place that gives you the strategy and the writing and the wherewithal to go after everything is my big concern. So we're spending 10, but where's that going to take you at the next level? Because
Right.
you had mentioned you can just put it in AI. You just can't put this stuff in AI and come out with this great grant. So I
Well-
think that was our concern also.
Stephanie?
first step would be so Mass Cultural has what's called a feasibility and technical assistance grant, smaller grant, to do all those things you're talking about. So, if we get this, then we can say, okay, they'll help us with that to get to the big cultural facilities fund.
Joan, we did have that conversation about having somebody that's professional that could do that, and I think that's totally valid, and I think it should be done. In fact, I think you should have requested the money to do that, to be quite honest with you, and I think it would have been a good request for money. I'm not sure this is not something that's separate. I'm not sure it's either or you do. I think it's a worthwhile thing to do. I actually think you should have asked for a much more expanded grant that would have brought somebody in professional, because I think you have to have somebody to get it done. I don't think you're going to be successful without getting a professional in there.
Stephanie?
Yes, go ahead. Bob has a question.
I must be missing something, because I'm looking at the application, and Jennifer can probably shed light on this, but the application is for $12,338.84. So where did the other $10,000
Yes, it
go?
was an additional application that they submitted after the fact. It came in after the initial application time in November. I don't remember when it was submitted, but I think it was right before our December meeting, if I recall correctly.
I knew there was more. I was just looking for
Yeah.
it. I think that the feeling was, the reason we went for the $12,338.84 was that to build an elevator would be an extremely expensive thing to do.
Mhm.
And we were not sure they could raise those kind of funds, and we felt that we wanted to deal with the immediate application of $12,338.84. If you want to do the extra 10, I'm okay with it, but I think we need some assurance that they realistically can do it.
I could tell you that in the interim between 12 and 22, we spoke to the architect, and we hadn't spoken to him in several years, and he said, "No, you're in excellent shape. You could take this and put it out to bid now." So,
I understand that, Paul, but how are you going to pay for it?
Mass Cultural Council,
Right.
and
But
they
how
do
much-
this kind of thing.
Can I jump in once again? I'm sorry. I would rather not increase it now, but have Paul come back next year with a plan to hire a consultant to help write the document and try to go after big money and really understand how much Mass Cultural Council gives. At 1.4 is a lot of money for Mass Cultural. How much does an elevator cost, and how much does Mass Cultural Council give towards these type of projects? I think just giving $10,000 now without knowing that information is not a good spend of money.
If I can jump in, I agree, and because I work on this project. We've discussed this, the idea about getting some professional help, maybe using a grant application in a future year to do exactly that. And that might be the better choice. It's a little slower, wouldn't be something you'd have this year, but it's something that I think would really change the course of the future of the schoolhouse.
It could come back in fall, too, if they knew what they wanted to do.
Oh, we know what we want to do.
No. I think in all
You need
honesty, the consensus here seems to be that the commission, I don't want to speak for everybody else, but you need some help to get it done.
Well, that's what the feasibility and technical assistance grant would be for.
May I jump in a minute?
Yeah, Dick has a
So,
question.
Paul, I think where I went with this, and agreeing with the 12 and rough numbers, is that you've got the priority, I think I remember hearing, is that an alarm system would allow people who are using the facility presently to be able to add more classes or a more educational point to the schoolhouse.
I'm not sure I'm following you, Dick.
Well, we talked about an alarm system, correct?
Right, so the CPC has given us the money for a fire suppression system, so we have sprinklers and smoke detectors, and we have a dedicated phone line that goes to the firehouse. And what we're asking for there is to upgrade that.
Okay, I missed that. Okay,
Right.
upgrade that. And then the kitchen,
The kitchen is nearly done.
that's sheet rocking and tiling.
Right. But we need the 10,000. We just really do, because what's going to happen is you're going to put us a year further, and we've been at it 20 years. So I mean.
So I guess I'm hearing you loud and clear, but I'm misunderstanding that. Where's the 12,000 going?
Tiling, the upgrade for the fire suppression system, and the sheetrock.
So it seems to me that the 12 grand here would be best used to go for the grant, so that grant then comes back and helps you pay for the infrastructure.
Well, we need the 12 to finish the kitchen.
Yeah, if I can jump in here, I'm sorry to again, but it is true, finishing the kitchen and doing that essential work is what makes the place usable. What I would suggest, Paul, is, once that happens, then it opens up some possibilities for some events, including fundraising events, that could take place there. And, again, 10,000 is not a huge amount of money. You could come back with a proposal for something in the fall, maybe for some professional help or whatever it might be. However, I do think that the next step is to really get somebody who can more comprehensively, on a half-time basis or something, which is none of us
Right.
as volunteers.
That would be the feasibility and technical assistance grant.
Right, but again, to me, it's like, get somebody in there who can then figure out, strategize, work quickly on numbers, grant sources, and how that money might be procured elsewhere
Well,
to be able to do the things that you want to do.
I mean, obviously it's obvious, it's your choice. But what you're choosing is how long will it take for the Orleans to get a community center? So, just so you know.
Okay. All right.
Okay, I think we should move on. Who hasn't spoken about it? Francesca?
I don't have a comment. Thank you.
Okay. Michael?
Yeah, it's a little confusing, but I mean, I'm fine with the 12.3 that you have here. I do think that if you want to look at a defined plan for an elevator for the fall for 10,000, if we come back, but yeah, I think you can't look at these things in just a bubble. You've got to kind of look at what the whole plan is to get that elevator, to apply for which grants, how much an elevator costs. As to Joan's comment, do they give grants of that? Because if a 4-story elevator in a refitted building, a renovated building, it's going to be a few $1 million,
yeah.
I would think. So.
Just so you know, it's all designed.
Okay, yeah.
The whole thing is designed, right.
I'm not worried about the design. I guess it's where's that funding going to come to in the future?
10 years ago, the architect said this will probably cost $1.5 million. Now, that's 10 years. So, it's a good deal more than that. But, considering what the town gets, it seems crazy to me that you wouldn't spend the $10,000 to get this project shovel ready now. I mean, I'll be back if you don't do it, but you're just putting off the Orleans Community
Paul,
Center.
I think we're good, Paul. I think we should just continue on with with our team discussing it. Anyone else? Let's just go around and see where people feel comfortable. Michael?
I feel comfortable with the 12.3.
Charles?
I would do both of them.
Dick?
What is it, 22, I guess?
Dick?
12.
Stephanie?
12.
Hardy?
12.
John?
I'm going to stick with the 12, just because that's part of how we've budgeted things.
Bob?
12, 338, 84.
Francesca?
The 12 as well.
Okay, and I'm going to stick with the 12. Okay, let's move on to the next one. The Civil War Monument, any discussion on the 120, knowing that we will write up the warrant article to include what Charles recommended. Any question on the Civil War Monument restoration?
Yeah, just a quick, is this, I know when Kevin presented this and we did it at the Veterans Memorial Day Committee and the discussion of bronze versus the zinc and that type of thing.
Zinc. It has to.
Has to be zinc.
This is the right way, yeah.
Yeah? Okay. As long as everybody's gone through it, and I know Kevin presented it, I just wanted to make sure everybody was clear with all of that, and there's no confusion down the road. So, okay.
Great. No discussion? Okay, Putnam Farm, any discussion? No. Okay, so let's go back to the archiving. I think we should just say who is in, let's just go around and say if you're in favor of increasing it back to the 50. Michael?
Yes.
Okay. Who's next? I can't see.
Yes.
Charles, yes. Dick?
Yes.
Stephanie?
Yes.
Hardy?
Yes.
Juan?
Yes.
Bob?
Yes.
Francesca?
Yes.
Okay, and I'm a yes. So we have now voted on everything. I think it was great. Jennifer or John could do the totals, but it seems like we have some money left over still. And we will get to add another 50 grand to that once that hits our books. Like I said before, so
Do we need a vote on everything?
Good question. Question just came up, is do we need a final vote on the entire?
Yes.
yes, we
Yeah,
need
we
a
will.
final vote. Mhm.
All right.
Okay,
I would move that we
No, they won't get the money
approve
until they do the
the
work.
request
Until they do the
that are on the January 9th handout in front of us, with the change that we add $50,000 to
Joe.
Joe rather than 25,000, and that regarding the Civil War monument, that before any funds are spent, that they get the approval of the Orleans Historical Commission.
It's not the Civil War, it's the Veterans Park Memorial.
No, it's
No, Civil War.
Oh, okay, all right.
Monument.
Veterans
All right.
Park was
I'll second that.
great. Okay, let's go around and vote. Michael?
Michael Herman, aye.
Charles
Charles?
Ellis, aye.
Dick Hilmer,
Dick?
aye.
Stephanie?
Stephanie Gaskell, aye.
Hardy
Hardy?
Truesdale, aye.
John Littman, aye.
I'm also a yes, but we do need to note that the Veterans Park Memorial was
Been
removed.
Yeah.
Right.
Removed.
Okay. Francesca?
Yes.
Okay, and I'm a yes, so we're done. And Jennifer will give us the total unless, John, you have it now. It's hard to see it online.
Mine coincides with John's.
You should
We
probably
have a
read it off
balance.
for the motion.
All right.
Okay. Yes. What's the balance?
Include it in the motion.
You want me to read it? The subtotal of all projects
Mhm.
is 830,000.
No.
The balance to
We
reserve.
need to include the 1 million for,
I see, that's right. All right. So for-
well, so it's 1,830,000.
Okay, right, thank you. Not right. $1,830,943.84. Thank you, Jennifer.
Okay, and now what does that leave us with as a balance?
Balance to reserve.
146,521.91, plus probably about 50,000 we've just recouped from.
Right. So
a
close to
former
200,000 we'll have left, which
Yeah.
is a good number.
A good start.
Right.
Okay, great. All right, we're done with
And
this.
we've achieved the 10% in all categories because recreation will include that $1 million.
Okay. And we have housing, we hit it with the OCT ask anyway.
yeah.
So we're good there. Okay, so we're gonna move on. Thank you very much to everyone. This was really quick and I'm so happy. Just to let you know before we do the minutes, this has to go by the select board. And Michael, you are going to do that for us, correct?
Yes, if you would like.
Yeah, I might be there, I might not be, pending timing. And it has to go to the Finance Committee.
Well, the one benefit is the Select Board and the Finance Committee next week have a joint meeting And I think Jennifer has her hand up, if, Chair?
Yes, Jennifer, what's up?
I was gonna suggest, I've done a draft description of the projects, getting ready for the warrant article, which might be helpful for going to the select board, because they can see at a glance what the project is. And that might help streamline their understanding. So I could send that to you for review, just for the select board, and then send it to Michael.
Yes, please.
Yeah, that would be great. And would you want me to request, because tomorrow would be the last day to request whether it goes on next week's meeting? Just, I'm also the liaison to the FinCom, and if we can do it with both together at once, it may, if it can fit on the agenda.
That'd be great.
Otherwise, I can request it, but I'd have to hurry to do that for tomorrow.
Okay, I think that would be great.
Okay.
All right, and then I think that's it. All we have to do is vote on the minutes for last week and then vote on when our next meeting would be. So anyone want to make a motion to approve the minutes?
I make a motion to approve the minutes.
I second the motion.
Okay, we have to go around. All in favor, Francesca?
Yes.
Joan, yes. Bob?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
Artie?
Yes.
Stephanie, yes.
Dick, yes.
Charles, yes.
Michael Herman, yes.
Great, okay. In the next meeting, I do think we need a meeting, maybe not next week, but maybe we want to have our, the February meeting. I won't be there.
February 6th, maybe March. We
We're
have
gonna-
a few accounts that need to be voted on to close, but it's not urgent.
What do people would like? Would you like the February 6th meeting? Because I also think we're going
It's
to
the
have.
5th, I think. It's February 5th.
Do people want February meeting, or you think we could wait till March?
March would be great.
I think we can wait till March.
March?
I can't be here for February anyway, so.
I can't either.
Great, okay. So the next meeting will be in March, and then we can look over, if we, I don't have the date of when the warrant articles are due, Jennifer?
No,
That-
I don't either, but I would think it's about March 11th or so.
I think it may be a little bit sooner, but it's published now, so we can get that, and it was at the chair's meeting, so they're going to send it out electronically to everybody, so you have the dates.
Okay.
So,
And if we needed to read the warrant article, we could send, Jennifer could send it to everyone and just respond to Jennifer. If we can't get it before, if it's due before we meet.
Inherited it. Now I'm using it.
all right.
Okay, great. All right, thank you, everyone.
Oh,
Thank you.
we have to
Motion to
vote to
adjourn.
adjourn. Vote to
Motion to
adjourn.
adjourn.
Motion to adjourn, I make. Motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second, so moved.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye.